We all have a box, a drawer, a folder in the cloud, a place where we put things that we're not ready to part with, but don't want to see every day. Old letters, broken toys, photos of people we're trying to forget. We lock that box and push it to the farthest corner of our minds. We think we control its contents, but what if one day the box starts dictating its own terms? What if it decides it's time to take something out, something you've been trying to erase? My story didn't start with a ghost in the mirror or a knock on the wall. It started with one photograph that couldn't be deleted. It was an ordinary photo. I was cleaning it and found an old SD card, probably from my first digital camera. Out of curiosity, I inserted it into the card reader. There were several dozen photos, vacations at the sea, birthdays, picnics, the time when we took fewer but more precious photos. I smiled, looking at them, until I scrolled to the last one. It was taken with the same camera, the same evening as the previous picnic photos, but this one wasn't a group of friends. It was a view from my window, but at night, and in the window of the building across the street, on the floor where I knew for sure the apartment had been empty for 3 years, stood a figure just standing there, looking into the lens, that is, into my window, shadow after shadow. I chalked it up to a trick of the light, dirt on the sensor, someone's stupid joke. I decided to delete it. I hit delete. The file was gone. 5 minutes later, I opened the folder again. It was there, in the same place. I deleted it via the command line, formatted the card, even connected it to my old camera, and deleted it from there. Nothing helped. Every morning, it returned. It was annoying, like an annoying ad, but not scary. Until I tried the last option. I smashed the card with a hammer, crumpled the pieces with pliers, and threw them in the trash can outside. I breathed a sigh of relief. I turned on the computer to work, and when I launched the photo viewer, it opened full screen. The same photo, but no longer from the card. Now it was stored in the computer's memory. From that moment on, everything went faster. I'd erase it from my drive, it'd appear in the cloud. I'd delete it from the cloud, it'd appear in the messenger archive. Sent to me. I changed my passwords, cleaned my laptop, bought a new phone. The first thing I saw after setting it up was that photo in my gallery. It was copying itself, moving around, infecting drives, like a virus. But it wasn't a virus. Viruses don't do what they start. She began to change, almost imperceptibly. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but no. The figure in the window across the street, it wasn't moving. No, it just became a little clearer with each passing day. Clearer details began to emerge from the blurry silhouette. Folds of clothing, the turn of a head, and then it changed its angle. Now, it was being filmed not from the depths of my room, but from the windowsill, as if someone had leaned out of my window to take a photo. And the figure in the window across the street was now looking straight into the camera, straight at me, and then there were sounds. Not from a photograph, no, from reality. At night, a quiet knock, not on the wall, not on the door, a knock on the glass from the balcony. But I live on the 3rd floor. I had reached my breaking point. I couldn't sleep at night, afraid to turn on any devices. I decided to take a radical step. I found an empty apartment across the street. I made an appointment with a realtor and told him I wanted to see it and buy it. When I walked in, a chill ran down my spine. The room was empty, dusty, but on the floor, directly across from the window, the same one in the photograph, there were footprints. Footprints, as if someone had been standing there for a long time. I went to the window and looked at my apartment. I saw my window, and in that moment, looking from there to here, I understood everything. I was wrong from the start. I thought it was there, in the photograph, in that window, that it was trying to get to me. But a photograph isn't a window into its own world. It's a mirror into mine. The one standing in that room, looking out my window, isn't a monster from the past. He's an observer, and the one taking the photograph, the one who's been filming from my apartment all these days, zooming in, changing the angle. That wasn't me. A photograph is a trap, not for the one in it, but for the one looking at it. Every time I opened it, peered closely, tried to discern details, I gave him a signal. I focused his gaze on me. I wasn't the viewer. I was the lens, and he was almost finished focusing. I'm writing this from a new laptop in a cafe with open Wi-Fi. I left all my old devices at home. They're all blank, except for this photo on every screen. It's perfectly clear now, and the face in it, familiar. It's always been familiar. We just never look at ourselves from the outside, from the 3rd floor, in the dark, do we? I'm no longer trying to delete the photo because I've realized its true purpose. It's not a message, it's a door, and I've been knocking on it for so long and so persistently that now someone on the other side has decided to open it a crack. The knocking on the glass has stopped yesterday, exactly when I last heard it, not from the balcony, but from the hallway.
Check your old memory cards, archive folders. Maybe there's just a pleasant memory there, or maybe not. Maybe your window is there, and someone is already learning to look out of it in your direction.